In this video, I'm going to show you how to burn a DVD or a copy of a DVD or a copy of a CD by using the software program called Brasero. Now in this case, I'm going to actually burn a copy of my restore disk that I had when I purchased my laptop. Now when I say I purchased my laptop, I upgraded to Windows 10 and then I made myself a repair disk just in case something happened. I did have to use it several times and I ended up getting frustrated with Windows and switching over Ubuntu. Now I'm not criticizing Windows. You know, the problem could have been that this was an older system and it probably couldn't handle the Windows 10, but anyhow, I am very satisfied with Ubuntu Mate, and the purpose of these videos is to familiarize someone with Ubuntu Mate and the applications that come with it. Alright, to access Brasero, I go to my Applications menu, I click on the Sound and Video submenu, and then I click on Brasero. Now when it comes up, I have the creations of an audio project where I can burn myself an audio CD. I can back up data files from my computer. I could burn a video project, like if I had a video file that I've downloaded for my class, that maybe from Discovery Education, where we had a legal rights to use the videos, and I didn't have it able to hook to a computer. I could download one of the videos, burn it to a DVD, and take it and hook it on this projector, the DVD that's hooked to the projector in the classroom. I'm going to show you how to use the disk copy, which is to create a one-in-one copy. So when I finish, the original disk will be identical to the copy, or the copy will be identical to the original. And finally is to burn an image. Like you can see here where I've downloaded Ubuntu Mate 17.04 ISO file. This allows you to burn that image. It uncompresses the files in that ISO file and burn them to a CD or DVD so that I can use it as the installation disk. Alright, here I'm going to go ahead and click the disk copy button. And when I do, I'm prompted, says repair disk. When that doesn't mean I need to repair something. That just happens to be the name of the disk that I created when I created that disk before I wiped everything off the computer. If ever I decide to go back to Windows 10, and more likely I won't, I could use the repair disk, put in there and hit restore, and it put the system back the way it was. Alright, I only have, and this is something people need to realize about Brasero, it probably works best if you had two optical drives, two CD-ROMs or two DVD-ROMs or two Blu-ray players that's burnable. But in this case, I only have one CD/DVD-ROM burner in the laptop. That doesn't mean I can't use the software. It shows you a little warning message. The drive that holds the source disk, which is my original disk, will also be used to record. So what it has to do during the burning process, it's not going to immediately do a one-to-one, take what's on there and start burning it over to another one, and then take more and putting it over it. It's not like taking a bucket of water, dashing it immediately into another empty bucket. What it's going to do, it's going to rip the data off of the original DVD, and when it completely puts it into a folder on my hard drive, and you have to make sure if you're working with a DVD that you have enough space for the content that's on the original DVD. So it would take the contents from the original DVD, put it into a folder, it will eject the disk and then prompt you to put a blank DVD in place of it. Make sure you use the same format. DVDs are much larger than CDs, and if you got a blank CD, then you will not be able to complete the process because you won't have enough room for the data from the original DVD. Now, before I hit copy, I can choose properties. Now here I recommend, for if you're wanting a more accurate, to choose a slower speed because that way that it's going to take its time to make sure all the data is burning. But for this sake, I'm going to choose the maximum speed because I am burning a disk that's almost it's a pretty big disk, so we'll be burning a large amount of data, so it will take a while to copy everything from the disk into a folder, and then it will pop out and I'll put a blank one, and it will take time to put what's on the folder onto a blank disk. So I apologize for the length of this video. If you are a newbie, someone new to Ubuntu, someone new to Brasero, then you probably want to see from beginning to ending stage. If you're used to using YouTube, you can increase the speed once I start, so that way that you can see from beginning to end. You can speed up me talking where I start sounding a much higher pitch and speaking much faster, or you can drag it to the end of it. But I want to show the whole video. All right, I'm going to go ahead and choose the copy button. Before I do, I've got the choice to making several copies. By choosing this, I don't have to keep popping the original DVD and copy and pulling the contents off the original DVD and putting it in a folder, because when it finishes, it's going to clean up its mess by wiping out the contents that pulled off the disk. But if I hit make several copies, it won't. It will keep prompting me to put a new blank disk, and it will use the material that's on the computer. But I'm not going to make several copies. I'm going to copy the content. If I realize I put the wrong disk in there, I could cancel out of this, but do not cancel it out while it's in the process of copying. You may corrupt. Well, in the process of copying, it will just stop, but in the process of burning, you will destroy or damage your DVD or CD if you're burning a CD, but I'm burning a DVD. All right, let's hit copy. All right, now it's starting to estimate your drive speed. Now, when I said it's a full DVD, it's only 375 megabytes. What it did is the contents on my DVD, I already had backed up the data. Basically what it did was the important Windows file, it compressed them and put on the DVD. So it didn't use the whole DVD. I could have probably used a blank CD since it holds a little over 700 megabytes to store the contents. But I put a DVD in there just to make sure. So it's now copying the original disk. It's taking the contents from the original disk and putting it into a folder on my computer. Up in this system tray, you can see an icon showing you the progress. The green bar matches the green color matches the green bar. It's about 50% done. If you look up here, it's around 50%, a little over 50% completed. Now, not for the whole project. It's only 50% or 60% of copying the original DVD. Don't interrupt the process as it's copying. When it's finished with the original DVD, it will eject and it will prompt you when to put in a blank DVD. So it's 81% completed of the copying process of copying the files from the original disk. Okay, it's almost completed. Okay, it's ejecting the medium. There, you heard it eject. It says, please replace the disk with a writable CD or DVD. Now, in this case, I probably could put a CD in there because it's below 700 megabytes. But in this case, I'm going to stick with the original format, the size of the DVD that was originally in there. I'm going to stick in the same type of DVD. Actually, they're the same name brands. They're both are Memorex. I close the door. I'm not going to hit cancel. So a lot of times when you close the door, you think people hit OK. It says an image of the disk has been created to your hard drive. Burning will begin as soon as the writable disk is inserted. Alright, that's because it tries to mount the disk. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It's already been locally mounted. The software is in the process of it mounted it and it's using it. So that error message really wasn't an error. When you put in a DVD, a blank one, or a blank CD, it tries to mount the disk, but it's already been mounted by the software. Now it's going to start recording. It's not actually burning right now. It's in the process of getting those files that's on your computer ready to be placed on that blank DVD. So it says starting the record. Once it actually starts the recording process, it'll start the burning percentage here. Copying DVD, 0% done. Again, you can see there's a little icon in your system tray to give you an indication of how much is completed. It will not take long because it's not 4.7 gigabytes of data. It's only 375 megabytes. It is burning at a slow speed of 3.6 on the multiplier. I don't recommend burning your data or your music at very high speeds because that's when you sometimes run into error messages, especially if you're running things in the background. Always be aware of what's going on your computer. You know, like if you've got an email checker, you might want to disable that, especially if it's got some chime that it plays. You don't want that interrupting your burning process. You're now 67% completed of the burning process of the burning stage, not the copying stage. Okay, you're 92% completed. Now, when it gets to 100% done or completed, do not, right here it says 100% done. It's finalizing. And when it finalizes, it'll also do a check to make sure that the files that are on your hard drive do match up with the files that is burnt to the DVD. You know, you don't want to have a corrupt file and it didn't match, and you go to copy it or wipe out your computer, put it in there, and all of a sudden about 75% of the installation, an error pops up. So you do want to let it complete the entire process. You want it to finalize, and you want it to check to make sure that your files are the correct files. So it's doing its little finalizing. It'll kind of clean itself up when it finishes all the data that went to your hard drive. It'll clean itself up, but it will prompt you, do you want to burn another copy? And then if you choose not to, then when you close it out, it will clean up the data. Now do notice that when it mounted it, it labeled this as a blank DVD. After it ejects, I will reinsert it so that you can see that it's no longer the blank DVD. It will have the same name as the icon of the original. Now it's doing your image checksum. It's checking the files to confirm that they are exactly duplicates of what's in the folder that was duplicates of what was on the original disk. So it's a little time consuming. That's why I didn't want to do a much larger disk or a much larger DVD. But it doesn't take too long. But if you did have a full DVD, it would take much longer. So it's creating your image checksum. As soon as it verifies that all the files match up, it will let you know if there's an error or if it has completed successfully. And so far I've not had any error messages with this Brasero on this particular Ubuntu on this machine. I have had errors with another machine because I was doing things in the background and I caused the problem. I was basically multitasking. So as long as you're not using up the resources, you're letting it use the resources to do this job. You know, computers are made to multitask, and some computers that are very big and powerful, you could probably multitask and it wouldn't hinder it. But to be on the safe side, I say let it do its thing, and when it's finished, then use your computer as you normally would. Now it's going to eject the medium. It ejected. The icon disappeared. It said DVD successfully copied. I will close this out. So here's the option to make more copies. It hasn't cleaned off the contents in the disk just yet. I close. Once I close this out, it should. Alright, I'm going to reclose the door. I want to see if it changes from the blank DVD that it had in the corner just a moment ago. It should show the name of the original disk that was in there to start with, the disk that I copied. Alright, it's spinning up, it's reading the content, and it will mount it with repair disk for Windows. I don't want to double click on it because I don't want to go through the repair process of putting Windows on this system. I could probably cancel out of it, but it is a copy of it because it said completed successful. So I'm going to eject again. I'm going to take the disk out. Now I will show you one last thing before I stop the video. Now if you are wanting to create yourself a cover, you could go to the cover editor and you could make, like if you got a little jewel case, those plastic jewel case where you got the thin ones, you can make a front cover, and if you got a little wider one, you can make the side cover. And here's the ones that are the thicker ones, so where you can bend them to put at the front and the edge, where you can write the name, your data. Like if you were making an audio project, you might want to put the artist and the album name. And if you were burning a movie or a video for science or social studies, you might want to put the author of the video, the narrator, and the name of the video. And you might put some image in the name of it. So this is where you can actually get contents It's like a little word processor. You could type text on here, and when you're finished, you could print it off and put it in your jewel case. So you do have a DVD cover editor that's inside of your Brasero program. So for a small application program, this program can do a lot. Hopefully you've learned something from this particular video. You've learned how to make a one-to-one copy of a CD or DVD.